Wake Up Central begins now with breaking news.
I mean, God protected this town, and He will rebuild it, and everything will be fine again.
A voice of a tornado survivor as they are speaking out, getting a look at the damage from Friday's storms firsthand. In the town of Wynne in northeast Arkansas, the tornado cutting a path clear through town, killing 4 people. This morning, neighbors are gathering at local churches to pray for the victims, their families, and for the hordes of volunteers arriving to help them rebuild their town. Meanwhile, shocking scenes above Little Rock. This is exclusive chopper video from several areas of Pulaski County. This is from Chenal to Shackelford to Rodney Parham and North Little Rock. Parts of the community unrecognizable. And this morning, we're live on the air through 10 o'clock to bring you coverage of the recovery and the rebuilding. We want to welcome you now to our special live coverage on THV 11. I'm Karen Fuller alongside Hayden Balgavy. Hayden is live in West Little Rock. Hayden, you and I were on the air together yesterday for hours talking about seeing it up front and in person. You're there now. What are your thoughts?
Karen, it's pretty surreal this morning, and thanks so much for joining us here on THV 11 this Sunday morning. We're not normally on the air at this point in the morning, but because of the devastation and everything that we have seen, not only here in the western part of Little Rock, but in Sherwood, in Jacksonville, as Karen just mentioned, in Wynne. Now, we are live alongside I-430 and Rodney Parham. It's very surreal for me because I shop here. I live right down the road, about 5 minutes away. Now, we're going to show you different vantage points of exactly what we've been seeing. Now, yesterday morning, you may recall meteorologist Scott Covert was live in this area. And he said something to me that was really interesting. It stuck out. He said, look, I understand you see this on TV. I understand you may see video, but you cannot imagine the damage until you see it in person. And he was absolutely correct. This is an area that a lot of us are very familiar with because we call it home. The Kroger behind me, we actually were making our way to the Kroger parking lot that is over my shoulder, but we were met, we were met with some security that said, we appreciate what you're doing, but we cannot allow anyone in here besides security, police, and the National Guard. There's actually a National Guard truck to my vantage point behind me over my shoulder, but it's tough to see because we're pushed back just a little bit. The devastation, the damage is quite literally unbelievable. You never thought you would see something like this. And again, this Kroger, of course, those cars that are parked behind us have been here since Friday. Folks going in, buying groceries, getting ready just to enjoy their weekend, make dinner, have what would normally be a perfect Friday night. But instead, all that changed, lives changed, and of course, this has been a tough situation to see in person. And we're going to be bringing you live reports all morning long. This is one of the hardest hit areas towards West Little Rock. Again, Rodney Parham too, which is usually so busy and is busy this morning. Cars coming and going, but lights are out, power is out. A huge police presence is out here to make sure that folks are okay and doing well. But again, this is just something a lot of folks never thought that they would see in such a highly populated area. And just 2 blocks from here, homes are gone. Homes are destroyed and lives will be changed forever. So again, we'll have plenty of live reports here from Rodney Parham and I-430 as we begin to start the rebuild process and get folks in some way, some fashion, a little bit of a sense of normalcy as we get ready to move into the week on this Sunday morning. And what's wild is another beautiful day, just like Saturday was, so different from Friday. I'll send it back to you, Karen.
All right, Hayden, such wonderful words as you reflect on the personal experience of us living out there, shopping at that Kroger as well, me too. And to see it in the background is just it is, like you said, surreal. So we'll be checking in with you. Obviously, you're field anchoring there. Now, here from the studio, here is what we know as of this morning. Authorities say that 5 people have lost their lives due to the tornado. 4 from Wynne, 1 from North Little Rock. The National Weather Service says the tornado caused damage in Little Rock. It was an EF3. This is a preliminary estimate of an EF3 tornado in a tweet saying, quote, damage with winds up to 100 165 miles per hour observed. The damage was observed at Breckenridge and North Shackelford Road in Little Rock, and Governor Sanders has signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency. Pulaski County and Little Rock also declaring their own states of emergencies. That is to free up additional resources that include money but other things as well. As for the power, right now, around 29,000 customers are still without electricity this morning. So any of this information you hear that can help loved ones or friends you have, please pass it along to them. The majority of the outages are in Pulaski County. The website poweroutage.us tracks outages, and they're showing about the 27,000 customers out in Pulaski County. Around 15,000 of those are Entergy customers, and another 11,000 from North Little Rock Electric. To Cross County now is also showing about 3,000 customers still in the dark from 5,000, so that's down some. Almost all of them are Entergy customers. We'll be refreshing this data for you throughout the morning to bring you the very latest on the power outages. And now we want to welcome you here to the THV 11 Wake Up Central studio. We're joined by meteorologist Corrales Ortiz. Corrales and the team thankfully have been able to use the technology they've had to help keep the number of casualties as low as possible. But now, as you say, we begin the beginning.
It's all about the recovery efforts, and just, I don't know if you've had the chance to go out in the field yet. I have not, just to see the all the footage and the photos of just the destruction, the amount of damage and how far it spans.
Yes.
And as we mentioned earlier, that the strength of that tornado as well. I do have a graphic kind of showing a little bit more details, because we did mention it was an EF3. EF3 status, winds sustained as high as 165 miles per hour. This began about 4 miles west-northwest over in Little Rock and parts of Pulaski County, and this just continued all the way towards Lonoke County, just outside of the community of Austin. So in terms of the length overall of that particular tornado, 29.9 miles or 30 miles in length. That was long. It lasted pretty a long time with a width of about 1.3 miles. So in terms of what it means by EF3, we have a scale that we measured called the Enhanced Vegeta Scale. So winds anywhere from 136 to 165 miles per hour. That's the EF3 speed, but we were very close to EF4 status. Nonetheless, the damage is already done, and of course, it's all focused on the recovery effort. So coming up, have a look at the forecast, what we can expect for the next few days just ahead.
All right, Corrales, thank you. Now look at this, aerial views really showing the extent of the widespread damage. This is a video now that we're seeing, drone video shot from the Calais apartments over in West Little Rock. We sent our drone up over the complex on Napa Valley Road, right next to Vitality Living Pleasant Hills. You may recall that's an assisted living facility. As you see, the tornado destroyed both complexes. Vehicles simply flung across the parking lot. The amount of damage, and even a dollar amount at this point, is too early to tell. But in the meantime, we want to go live to Lily Cummings. She is a reporter who's come from our New Orleans station here to Arkansas to help cover the damage for us. Lily, welcome, and tell us what you're seeing there on the ground.
Karen, good morning to you. I am looking at the most beautiful sunrise in front of me here. Birds are chirping, and it is a quiet and peaceful Sunday morning here in West Little Rock. That was not the case on Friday. I'm going to step out of the way so photojournalist Ricknese Riggins can show you all some of the damage here at the Calais apartments. Now this, as you said, was one of the hardest hit areas. Little Rock police is out here right now, still blocking off the entrance to the Calais apartments, not letting folks in. You can see some of these roofs just destroyed, power lines are still down, and a lot of debris out here this morning. Now take a look. We're going to give you a bird's eye view of this destruction. This area, as you said, home to several apartments and is densely populated. We spoke to one resident of the Lenox apartments yesterday evening who was here gathering some of her things. The roofs of those apartments were blown off, some of them, and several of them now are covered in blue tarps. She told us her apartment fared well, but her windows were blown out, and she walked us through moments on Friday as she took cover in her bathtub.
It sounded like a train pretty much coming through. We had enough time to get to shelter, but like many people here, like we really didn't think it was gonna, a tornado doesn't hit Little Rock like that.
Well, and yesterday evening we spoke with an Entergy spokesperson who told us that the estimated restoration time for this area is now pushed to Thursday evening. They were telling us at first Wednesday, but they're pushing that to Thursday, just looking at the weather forecast and the damage out here that they've seen. Now that is Thursday evening, so a lot of folks this morning waking up without power in this area, and we will have much more on those power outages coming up in our 7:30 hour. Reporting live from West Little Rock, Lily Cummings, THV 11 News.
Lily, while we have you out there, we do have a little bit of time. I want to ask you about the presence of Little Rock Police. We see one of the SUVs behind you. Are people who live there, are they able to even get to the street to get to the Calais apartments?
There were some cars that were asking police if they could come in. Yesterday evening when we were out here, it was completely blocked off. They weren't letting anyone in. At this time, I don't know if residents living in the Calais apartments are allowed back in or not. Obviously, a much smaller police presence out here this morning, Karen. But I do know that they told us media will not be allowed into those apartments to really get a full look at all of this until Monday.
Wow, it's hard to comprehend. Lily Cummings, thank you so much from our station in New Orleans, coming to help us out here in the Arkansas area. We appreciate it, Lily, and we'll be seeing you later on in the program. After the storm hit that Napa Valley Road area, it continued to move northeast, doing significant damage along Rodney Parham Road to Reservoir Road. So let's go back out to anchor Hayden Balgavy. He's live out there this morning. Hayden, one of the residents said the same thing that we keep hearing. It sounded like a train. And I know now you're out there and you can see the result of what that looks like.
It's true, Karen. You hear that all the time, that it sounds like a train, until you experience it for yourself. You think, okay, it may sound like a train. It's the only really description that I could think of. It sounded like a train. I heard it. My wife heard it at our house not too far from here. I'm actually going to step out of the way and give you a little better vantage point of where we are. So we're at the Kroger right along I-430 and Rodney Parham. We are seeing the destruction for myself in person for the first time, but I want to give you an even better vantage point. We're going to show you some exclusive video from the air of exactly what happened to this heavy populated area, this Kroger that sees so many folks come in, shop, and especially on a Friday, getting ready to just enjoy their weekend. And yet it was obviously a different story this past Friday. This damage is unreal to see from the ground in person. It's unreal to see from the air. These are vantage points that normally we wouldn't have, but we have this exclusive video that is quite incredible to see such a popular area just decimated, almost completely destroyed. Now you can still see that the building is intact, but roofs are torn off. And now this morning, a heavy police presence. The National Guard is out here. The governor called 100 National Guardsmen yesterday to come in and help out with the cleanup effort. And it is a wild scene to see, to be here in person and just look at this damage. It's unbelievable. So many people just live right down the road here on Rodney Parham. Their homes, they're gone or completely destroyed. They're having to rely on friends. They're having to rely on family. And they're really having to rely on us. And even if you don't know somebody impacted by these storms, you can help. Arkansans are such amazing people, and they have such a unique ability to be able to give back and help. I want to share some information with you. If you want to help out, you can just text the word GIVE to 501-376-1111. It is such an easy way to help out someone impacted by these storms. And in reality, you probably do know someone who's been impacted in some way by this tornado that stretched all the way from West Little Rock into North Little Rock, into Sherwood, into Jacksonville. And of course, we've seen the damage already that's been done in Wynne, Arkansas, Although it's about 2 hours from here, plenty of friends, family. We know how special that community is in the northeast part of the state. Again, 501-376-1111. Just text the word give. And you can also go to my Facebook page. I changed my Facebook profile picture to that information, as well as any information that you need. Please help out, folks, because a lot of folks need it right now. In fact, this morning, I want to send it over to Journey, a special member of our Wake Up Central team this morning. Journey Taylor joining us live this morning. Journey, I know you're a native Arkansan. You call Little Rock home. You've been all over the state. It's a tough weekend, and it's been a tough morning, but now we're starting to begin that rebuilding process. I want to send it over to you and get your thoughts.
Yeah, good morning, Hayden. Ironically, I haven't actually covered anything in Little Rock, and I'm actually kind of nervous to see what Little Rock looks like when I make it over there eventually. I've been in the Jacksonville area and the Cabot area, and I actually spent several hours here in Indian Hills yesterday. It's very quiet this morning. Plenty of people still sleeping, but yesterday while we were here, it was a constant humming sound of those chainsaws just going nonstop, cutting down trees and clearing areas. Now, the area that I am in, which is Indian Hills, is one of several areas that was under a curfew overnight. That curfew was issued yesterday by the city of North Little Rock for the damage hit areas. And it was to span over 2 days from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. So we're just a little over an hour after that curfew ended. Now, many of these residents here yesterday telling me that a lot of the help they receive has been from family, but also volunteers they've never met before this disaster. And even from single volunteers to large organizations like the Red Cross, much of the help that's appreciated isn't physical.
We'll be going out and assessing damage in the area, talking with these residents about what kind of support we can give them. It could be anything from spiritual to mental to medical needs, if they've lost medicines, if they've lost any of their medical equipment, and financial needs.
Now, many of you at home may want to get out and help in some capacity. Here's what the Red Cross wants you to know. If you need help, just call 1-800-RED-CROSS. But if you also would like to help, that number is the same, 1-800-RED-CROSS. Hayden just said it. We have a full list of ways you can give and help. You can call or text, rather, give to 501-376-1111. Again, that is 501-376-1111. And throughout the next few hours, I'll have a little bit more about the residents here in this area that have lived here for decades and how they're pushing forward. Hayden, back to you.
All right, Journey, thank you. Sherwood, North Little Rock, such a special area. You know what I think of Indian Hills, too? It's wild because my folks' first home after they got married was on Randolph Street, right there in that Lakewood area, that Indian Hills area. Such amazing folks up there. They're going to need some help after this devastating tornado rolled through there. Again, I'm live here in West Little Rock along I-430 and Rodney Parham. We're going to send it back to Karen in the studio, but we will have much more live out here alongside this Kroger and the devastation that was caused by that tornado on Friday. Let's send it back to Karen.
It sure does hit home for so many people, Hayden, even your family. Think of all the families. Yes, thank you so much. Good perspective, and we will see you in just a bit. Meanwhile, we have drone video that shows dozens and dozens of homes and businesses. Just look at this. It looks just like a junk pile. These are businesses and homes. This is in Wynn. The tornado did go through Wynn, stunned residents there. A community of about 8,000 people woke up. That's to find the school's roof shredded, its windows blown out, huge trees all over the ground, along with broken walls, windows, and roofs just simply demolished. You can imagine, because you've seen tornado footage before, of course, but the technology of the drone that we can bring to you gives you a bigger, wider picture of just how frightening and how massive the recovery effort will be. And of course, authorities are telling us that at least 4 people in Wynn were killed due to the storm. Jay Shakur was at the city's high school as authorities plan for what's next for the school year.
Here in Wynn, Arkansas, about 50 minutes west of Memphis, there's been extensive and severe damage, but residents are picking up the pieces.
And there's so much devastation that it's going to be a long process.
Wynn, Arkansas residents say they have been through storms before, but never a storm that went directly through the heart of their city.
We're all right. We made it to our home and we were safe. We left the store about an hour before it hit. For 25 years, we have stayed and weathered the storm and got in the back room if there was one. This time, the storm hit about 4 and about 3 o'clock, and I said, I just feel like we need to leave this time.
Daryl Calvert and his wife Charlotte have owned Cordial Cottage, a general store, for more than 20 years.
Me and my wife, this was our livelihood.
Their family's business, along with a daycare, was destroyed less than half a mile away from the district's only public high school, also destroyed in the storm. Trees around the campus are completely uprooted. Most of the roof is torn to pieces and the main entrance has collapsed. With a population of nearly 8,300, the mayor of Wynne, Jennifer Hobbs, says the extent of the city's damage is still unknown. But Charlotte and Daryl say despite this tragedy, they will remain resilient and rebuild. A sentiment Brad South, whose nearby home was also hit by the tornado, shares.
We've had things like this before, and I have no doubt that our community will pull together and help out.
We've been talking all morning, and our plans, we believe right now, is to try to rebuild. Maybe not as big as before, but something to get us up and going. But it looks like it may take a year or better.
Now, over 20 people have been injured, and the coroner confirms there have been multiple deaths. In Wynne, Arkansas, I'm Jay Shakur.
And now we want to give you another look at the damage from the tornado that hit the Wynne High School on Friday. It's one of only the 2 high schools across the whole county. Wynne Public Schools obviously will be closed all of next week. That's Monday, April 3rd to Friday, April 7th. Authorities say right now they're working to accommodate students so that they can finish the school year. One Arkansas resident who is now a teacher in the neighboring Earl School District says she attended Wynne High School, and coming back to what used to be her home now is traumatic.
First thing we did was we tried to get down here because we have family all over town, and we were just devastated. We cried. I grew up in the neighborhood right behind the high school, and it's gone. I went to school in every single one of these buildings, and it's just unimaginable.
The school district also says that any closings or reopening decisions passed this coming week will be determined in the days to come. Clearly, they need time to assess and really let it sink in and see what can be done to help those students finish out the school year, which is not that far away, and now the high school gone. Governor Sanders also voicing her concerns over the storm that did severe damage to the Wynne High School. Sanders saying in a statement, quote, "The destruction at Wynne High School is severe. Our team at Arkansas Education is working with the superintendent and school board to make a plan for current students." The governor goes on to say that her administration is there to provide for residents. And as you know, we have been there along the way with the governor and other city and state officials who are talking about those words about cleaning up and recovery. And Wake Up Central's Ian Russell has more.
Yeah, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders got a pretty good look at that destruction Saturday, touring a lot of different areas across central Arkansas, but she started today here. This is Little Rock Fire Department's Fire Station number 9 in West Little Rock. And if you look behind me, you can just see how powerful this storm was to rip the side of this building off, taking that brick with it. Obviously, you see the basketball hoop behind me just bent over from the sheer winds as they kind of swept through this area. Obviously, just a powerful storm to do something like this to this area. And obviously, for the firefighters inside, this is such a personal thing. You know, they live and work in this area. This hits really close to home for them. And for the governor as well, this also hits close to home for her, as one of her staffers' homes was also destroyed. Take a look.
As the sun rose on the aftermath, images straight out of a movie are now reality.
What we deem to be at least 2,100 residents within the western portions of Little Rock and southwestern portion of Little Rock were impacted.
And as residents toured the damage, so too did some of Central Arkansas's elected officials, including Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
This group represents all of Central Arkansas and Little Rock, this area that was hit so hard, and very thankful for their willingness and the cooperation that we've had.
Her morning started at Little Rock Fire Station 9, heavily damaged in the storm.
Despite the fact that they had a tornado literally coming through their station, we're worried about the community. That tells you who they are, and it tells you, I think, a lot about our state.
This neighborhood off Shackelford razed.
The biggest thing, like I was telling y'all, is we got to get the streets cleared, but the power is the big thing. Power is it's going to be very trying.
It joining many, like this neighborhood in North Little Rock, also destroyed. Trees on homes, X's mark the damage. The governor joining North Little Rock Mayor Terry Hartwick, touring damage too close for comfort.
This is the home of one of the staffers in our office. And he found out that happened as he was sitting in our conference room responding to the storm. So we are so thankful they weren't here, that they're okay. And we're just here to help and be there for them in any way we can.
Cleanup in these neighborhoods will take weeks, if not months. Crews and neighbors all lending a helping hand. And the governor promising they won't be alone.
It's real simple. Whatever you need, we're going to come and provide it. If it's temporary shelter, if it's food, if it's clothing, we're coming together, we're going to work together, and we're going to make sure that the people have what they need.
All right, and you heard the governor there obviously promising a lot of help for people that are affected by this, whether it's food, clothing, shelter, anything that they need. She says they'll step in to help them. She told me when I was speaking to her earlier, she said, you know, people, not paperwork. And I think that's the message she's going with, to get them out of this, to help with them with anything that they will need. Now, obviously, this process may take a little bit as the recovery efforts continue here over the next couple days and weeks. So we got a lot of information about donations right now over on our website, thv11.com. In Little Rock, I'm Ian Russell for Wake Up Central.
All right, Ian, thank you. And as the governor said, whatever people need, it will be made available. That may take some time, and we understand that. But in the meantime, THV11 has already put a lot of information about resources that can help you, or if you'd like to help. You'll find them on our website, thv11.com, and please share. And by the way, this is Governor Sanders' first time as the leader of our state addressing a major disaster like this. And she became emotional, which is not something we generally see from Governor Sanders and Press Secretary Sanders under former President Trump. So obviously this is in her heart as well. She is the daughter of the former Governor Mike Huckabee. So Arkansans are in it together, it seems. And it's nice to see both sides, both parties working together for the greater good. As you know, THV11 has been covering Jacksonville, where people are doing their best to try and look forward. And Wake Up Central's Frederick Price traveled there to bring you this story.
We visited Jacksonville, Cabot, and Sherwood, and the story is the same in each community. A lot of damage. This morning, people are focusing on cleaning up and moving forward. The focus more than 24 hours after a violent tornado ravaged parts of central Arkansas is cleaning up.
We just made sure that we boarded the window up and we're covering the roof up with tarp.
Johnny Hills is the pastor of Christ-Centered Fellowship Church in Jacksonville.
We do have quite a bit of roof damage.
The storm's also leaving a mess of debris on the front lawn. Sunday morning services, Johnny says, won't be happening. Quentin and Joe Lauer were home together with their 3 kittens when the weather turned violent Friday.
In August, we would have lived in this house 45 years.
And it hit so fast that we really didn't even have time to be afraid.
And much like everyone in the path of this storm, their work is cut out for them. People in this community out much of Saturday clearing yards and getting some personal belongings inside their homes. Crews also working to clear roads and restore electricity to those who lost it. Ask anyone from a small town in Arkansas. In times of tragedy, the community wastes no time making sure their fellow neighbor is well.
Today's Helping the Community Day.
Which is what Pastor Carrie Rosenbaum and members of the Bethel Assembly Church did on Saturday.
So we're just handing out supplies, tarps, water bottles, cleaning supplies, things to help people get through the next several days.
And Jacksonville Public Works workers are pitching in a helping hand in cleaning up any debris that was left from this storm. In Jacksonville, Frederick Price for Wake Up Central.
Thank you, Frederick. One other note, we're told that debris like the trees and such, Jacksonville city officials say you can move it to the side of the road and the public workers will come and pick it up. In the meantime, let's go to meteorologist Corrales Ortiz, one of the members of our phenomenal weather team who have kept us posted. And Corrales, what are we looking at today as far as such a beautiful day on the aftermath of this recovery?
Yeah, so this weekend has pretty much been that calm after the storms So today is going to be another full day of cleanup efforts. It's going to be very much needed. We are going to start to see some changes later into the week. Fortunately, though, more of that sunshine and pleasant conditions for today. We do have the chance of seeing some scattered showers later this evening and tonight, but not expected to last all night. But unfortunately, we do have another round with the severe weather potential later this week. I'll have more details on that just ahead. But here's a breakdown of your day planner. We'll start off with sunny skies with cloud cover gradually increasing. Highs will be approaching the mid to possibly upper 70s, and then there comes the rain later this evening. It may be a few rumbles of thunder, but generally just expecting some scattered showers that will be pretty much done in the early evening hours. And then by the time we get towards your Tuesday and Wednesday, unfortunately, that's our next round of rain with another storm system. So in terms of what we're expecting, we're not expecting anything strong to severe, maybe a few rumbles of thunder across southern portions of the state. But unfortunately, our next severe weather potential is for your Tuesday, especially Tuesday night and into Wednesday. Right now, the specifics and the timing still not set in stone.